Nickal. Why are you on the main card of UFC 300? Why have the UFC done this? We're all confused. Everyone's asking the same question. Why is Yuri Prochazka versus Alexander Rakic on the prelims? Why is Aljamain Sterling a pound-for-pound fighter on the prelims against Calvin Kattar? We just don't know the answer. In today's video, I'm going to try and get to the bottom of why they have Bo Nickal versus Cody Brundage on the main card of the pay-per-view. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. If this was Bo Nickal against a ranked middleweight contender with some kind of name value, people would still be asking the question. They would still be like, why is Bo Nickal versus Jack Hermansson on the main card over Yuri Prochazka versus Alexander Rakic, over Aljamain Sterling versus Calvin Kattar? So I don't think it's entirely based on the fact that Cody Brundage is his opponent as to why there's so much fan backlash about him being on the main card of this pay-per-view. It's definitely a factor as to why the backlash has been so severe. Because if you look at Instagram, you can see, all you can see is comments right here behind me. Bo Nickal in the main card and Yuri in the prelims is one of the weirdest things UFC made. Bo Nickal over Yuri's blasphemy. Did somebody say take Bo off the main? Did somebody already say take Bo off the main card? Nickal Brundage over Yuri Rakic and Kattar Sterling is still unfathomable. No one really understands. That's great. Can you switch one of those fights with Bo versus Cody now? Bo Nickal, overhyped and overrated. They're making him hated with their decisions, is what they're doing. But why have they done it? There must be a reason why. Right? They're a business. They're a company. They have a team of people deciding who should go where on a card. And for some reason, Bo Nickal fighting a big dum-dum loser of a fighter who's on a 2-fight win streak purely by way of chance, by the way. He fluke slam KO'd some guy who had him in like a submission attempt, which was good, but like it's not like a definitive, wow, we outclassed that guy type win. And then before that, he got a DQ win because Jacob Malkoun beat him up incorrectly and hit him in the back of the head. And basically with back of the head shots in the UFC, if you're not a star, they call back of the head shots and disqualify you. If you are, they allow back of the head shots very blatantly. Why is he there? Look at the prelims. Look at the early prelims. Figueiredo Garbrandt is opening up the card. Why is Bo Nickal Cody Brundage there? The card would look way better. The card, I think, would sell way better if they had another name on the main card. Honestly, out of all of the fights that are on here, I wouldn't mind Figueiredo Garbrandt, but I'd probably say maybe Kattar Sterling should be on there. Prochazka Rakic should be on there. The card would probably do better in terms of numbers. So why are they limiting the success of the card by putting Bo Nickal on there? We do some investigative research. Bo Nickal's Instagram page. He has something like 600,000 followers. Yuri's got more. Yuri's got about 700,000 followers. I'm going to have to move my camera again here. Give me a second. Yuri's got more. So we look at Bo Nickal's interaction rate on his posts. This one was viral. It's posted by ESPN. Okay, so that's not Bo Nickal posting it. ESPN posted it. Let's find posts that Bo Nickal posted. I get more likes. I don't get more likes. But for this one, 2,000 likes is a disgrace. Like, there's no there's no, oh, we checked this is ESPN as well. It got a bunch of likes. But Bo Nickal posts 12,000, 2,000, 14, 8,000 likes. So it's not like they're looking at his social media and going, sorry, UFC fans. I know you don't want him on the main card, but God, he sells a pay-per-view. He doesn't. He doesn't sell a pay-per-view. Like, it's not... You know, for a while I thought there's this huge wrestling fan base waiting to watch Bo Nickal fight. And I think they might still be out there, but they just don't care if he's not fighting a good opponent, I guess. So they're just going to find out what happens the day afterwards. There is a wrestling fan base that knows Bo Nickal. It's why he has 600,000 followers, despite not really achieving anything in MMA yet. That's why he has so many followers. We see fighters, you know, they get a few wins in the UFC, they've got like 10k followers on social media. Clearly he does have a fan base, but they just don't seem to care if he's just going to get fed an absolute bum to them in their mind. And, you know, he is a bum. He's an absolute bum. Cody Brundage is. So they're just going to find out afterwards. If he got a big name, there would be some hype. So it's not the social media posts, because you're looking at these numbers, 2,000, 12,000, 14,000, 8,000, Yuri. Better numbers. You know, this one's very recent, but this one, 34,000, 20, 7, 21, not beating Bo Nickal by much, but I'm showing you that it's not like a, well, look at his interaction rate on social media type thing. Why is Bo Nickal on the main card? You know, you look at Aljamain Sterling's Instagram. Very low numbers himself. But, like, competitive with Bo Nickal's numbers. They're less. They are. But competitive with Bo Nickal's numbers. What are you doing there, you ginger? Why are you there? I have a theory. I have a theory why he's there. So people actually talk about his fight. Because let's just face it. If Bo Nickal, Cody Brundage was on the early... They want Bo Nickal as a star. And I might get to why in a second. Bo Nickal, Cody Brundage. If it was here on the card at the early prelim opener, no one would care about the fight whatsoever. Now, you may say that you don't care about the fight. You may say that. I think you care about it more because its presence annoys you. Hear me out, okay? Let me move my fucking camera again, sorry. Why is he there on the card? And again, I think you care about it more because his presence on the card annoys you. The anger that fans are feeling about Bo Nickal being where he is on the card is infuriating them. And I'll be honest with you right now, I want Cody Brundage to flatline KO Bo Nickal. I think the UFC, in a way, knows that by doing this and fucking mentally torturing the fans, by doing this with zero explanation, they are subconsciously making everyone speak about Bo Nickal. Hear me out, okay? They're trying to create a star here, and I'll tell you why in a second. But they post a post here about the prelims. Yuri Rakic, Kattar Sterling, these two old women, Yusuf versus Lopez, Turner versus Moicano, another whatever, Bobby Green, Jim Miller. Like, these are sick fights. Look at these fights. Are any of the comments about them? Diego Lopez is the only comment not about Bo Nickal. Other than this one, I guess. Other than that, up to like the first scroll of posts, there isn't a comment that isn't about Bo Nickal. Unless it's Diego Lopez himself. Diego's posting his own GIFs in comment sections. Which is so good to see. But, other than Diego Lopez himself, 2,000 likes, 1,500, 900, all of the high like comments are about Bo Nickal. So, what they've done is they've known that the public love to have a hissy fit about something. And it's a warranted hissy fit. It really is. It's a very warranted and justified rage that people have about why Bo Nickal is on the main card. But if Yuri Rakic was on the main card and Kattar Sterling was on the main card, does it change the level of which it is spoken about by the fan base? Does it? Like, really, if Yuri versus Rakic was just one position higher on the card, instead of where it is now, are all of a sudden 10 times more comments going to be about Yuri versus Rakic? No. Are 2 times more comments going to be about it? No. So by doing this, they've subconsciously made you and me in this video talk about Bo Nickal, where normally, because of the level of his opponent, which is Cody Brundage, awful, no one would be talking about this shit. So I feel like wrong place and time to do it at UFC 300 UFC. I feel like they've just been like, no one's going to give a fuck about this one. So let's fucking put it on the main card and see if they fucking throw a hissy fit on social media. And you have. you have thrown a hissy fit. You are now subconsciously talking about Bo Nickal's fight. I'm making a video because of this. Other MMA YouTubers, I'm sure, are angry about this. Social media posts, why is he on the fucking main card? Every single post I see is, what? Bo Nickal above the... No, people just don't... They care about something they hate more than what they love. It's not, wow, Figueiredo Garbrandt as the early prelim opener. Insane. There are some posts like that. But instead, they don't say that. They take the negative approach to it, which is, why the fuck is this on the early prelim opener while Bo Nickal's on the main card? So, they got you. I really think they got you. And they got me as well. Because I'm furious. I'm furious about this ginger cunt. And I like gingers. Gingers are some of my favorite people in the world are gingers. But they got you. And I think the reason why they want Bo Nickal to be a star as well, or the reason why they want Bo Nickal to get to the top and get on the main card of these pay-per-views, is they want a fan base that's going to buy a pay-per-view. And I think Bo Nickal, with his wrestling background and being known by all these like middle-class white dads that have their sons wrestle at school, these Chael Sonnens of the world that didn't do MMA fighting themselves, but wrestled in school, they know that those guys are the ones that are having tea parties at their house. Oh, let's buy the pay-per-view, guys. They're not, let's watch this on the computer and illegally stream this, like an O'Malley fan would, like an Israel Adesanya. Because Adesanya fans and O'Malley fans, like O'Malley fans are what, 12 years old? They watch Neon and Aiden Ross. Like, these are the people that would tune in externally from the hardcore UFC fan base to watch a Sean O'Malley fight. So they don't gain many pay-per-view sales extra on top of that. You know what I mean? They don't, because they're going to illegally stream it. Israel Adesanya fans, you know, LGBTQ community, taboo fetish community, online, probably outside of maybe those things, quite young, 12-year-old TikTokers. Those are the people that like Israel Adesanya and are fans of him. They ain't buying the pay-per-view legally. They're illegally streaming the pay-per-view. So what they're doing is, I think, is they're having an experiment with Bo Nickal. Bo Nickal has not got a fan base of these TikTokers or, you know, Bo Nickal has not got a fan base of 12-year-olds. Bo Nickal, I believe, the fan base that he does have and the fan base that he potentially could have is middle-class, suburban, American dads, and maybe, like, you know, men between the ages of 25 and 35 that watch JRE and Joe Rogan Experience and love people that talk about bow hunting and elk. And they have the money to buy a pay-per-view legally. So I think they're doing a giant experiment with Bo Nickal to see if he can rally, or if he has the fan base that will actually convert into pay-per-view sales directly. Because even though Bo Nickal is not doing the numbers on social media that you may think, I'm telling you right fucking now, if you are to ask me who is more likely to get on the Joe Rogan Experience after UFC 300, outside of the top 4 fights on the card. So basically, out of all of the people that would be competing for the 5th spot on the main card of the pay-per-view, who is more likely to get on JRE? Who's more likely to be on Lex Friedman's podcast? You know what I mean? Who's more likely to be with it? You know, who's more likely to get an Instagram picture with Cam Haines, David Goggins? Because Bo Nickal's at events with those guys all the time. Bo Nickal's the most likely to. And I do understand that Cody Brundage being there is a fucking disgrace. And I hate that Bo Nickal's on the main card. I'm trying to understand their rationality here. I'm trying to understand why they've done this. And I'm thinking that's the reason. If who's going to be more likely on JRE? I know Joe Rogan has a certain type of guest on his show more often than others because he fancies him. But who's more likely to be on JRE? It's Bo Nickal. If he gets this win, and, let me just go according to my picks. Rakic, or let's say the more popular of each fighter. Yuri wins. Sterling wins. Kayla Harrison. Probably Kayla Harrison might have a good chance of being on JRE now I'm thinking about it. But Diego Lopez wins. And, Moicano wins. I'd love to see Moicano on JRE, but Moicano wins. Bobby Green wins. Cody Garbrandt wins. Bo Nickal's more likely to be on JRE. Bo Nickal's more likely to get a picture of all this community. And that community speaks to a target audience that is way more likely to actually spend their dollars on a pay-per-view buying the UFC legally. So I think it's just an experiment. Is UFC 300 the type of card to be doing fucking experiments on? No, it's not. But I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is. That's the only explanation, because I don't know any other fucking reason. Or they've realized, well, shit, we tried to get people to like him and he's boring as fuck. So let's make these motherfuckers hate him. He's ginger. He's pale. He looks hateable. You know what I mean? Like, he looks like someone that you would, you know what I'm saying? He's ginger. So he's like pre-built victim status. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, he's ready to be bullied already from school. And now they're trying to translate that into his adult life, I feel like. They're trying to get you hate this motherfucker so they can push him moving forward. And honestly, it's got to stop after Cody Brundage. It's got to be, if they're going to be unranked, it's got to be, I mean, at least give him Meerschaert or so, you know what I mean? Like, at least give him Ikram Aliskerov. Like, if Bo Nickal goes out there and ragdolls a Dagestani, we're in fucking luck. And we've got a superstar on our hands. But I'm telling you what's going to happen this weekend. And this is my prediction this weekend about this Bo Nickal fight. And everyone's going to forget about his placement on the card. Let me tell you. Garbrandt's going to win. Ooh, what a Garbrandt win. Amazing. Good to see Garbrandt back. Jim Miller wins. Wow, still doing it at 40-something years old. Amazing. Moicano wins. Oh, he was so great in the post-fight speech. Lopez wins. He's a problem at 155, or 145, sorry. Aljamain Sterling wins. He's a problem at 145. Dude, 145 Sterling might actually have a chance at the belt. Yuri or Rakic wins. How is just not on the main card of the Bo Nickal? I bet you that's going to be something like that. But main card, Bo Nickal wins against Cody Brundage. Highlight reel KO in the first round. And people were saying he shouldn't be on the main card. I can see the NPC semi-conscious human race Instagram comments saying that word for fucking word. Because they don't understand perspective of before and after. Same thing they do when the UFC puts on a card like Blanchfield versus Fiorot. And people said this card was bad because a few finishes happened. This is the worst fucking example I've ever used in my life. But you know when they put on a terrible fight night card and everyone's like, what a shit card. And then the fight card happens. There's a lot of KOs on the main card and a finish in the main event or a fun scrap. And everyone in the comments is like, and people said this was bad. They're dumb humans. You've got to realize 90% of the human race aren't really, you know what I mean? It's hot. Not 90%, but there's a good chunk that just ain't switched on. They really are not switched on the same way. So if Bo Nickal beats Cody Brundage by a highlight reel KO and Yuri and Rakic get into a scrap and it gets a TKO win, or hell forbid Rakic gets a decision by out-grappling him, or Aljo gets a decision over Sterling by out-grappling him, and then Bo Nickal highlight reels Cody Brundage, top fucking comment of the post One will be saying, great finish, but the fact that this was on the main card is terrible. One will be saying, and people said this should be on the prelims. I can see it. Like and subscribe. I don't know why they're doing it. Seems like one big experiment, but there you go, I guess. Interesting stuff. See you later, guys. Thank you for watching Toodle Pip. Goodbye.